Hi, this is Isaac Carr with CCSK Law, going live to talk to you about the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, or the CARES Act, which was just signed into law earlier today by President Trump after approval in the House of Representatives. The bill offers $350 billion towards small businesses throughout the United States, and specifically there's additional benefits with regard to increased amounts of loans that may be granted by the Small Business Administration, delays for payroll taxes and employers, as well as some other tax benefits that you could look into. But the most important one that a lot of businesses are eager to learn about is what's called the Payroll Protection Act. Now, the Payroll Protection Act is what you've been hearing about with regard to a loan that is done through the SBA, but then is forgiven if you continue to pay your workers. I'm going to give you some details on that. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into what that means and the expanse of that, how expansive that is, what it means for your business. This is first eligible for small businesses, sole proprietorships, independent contractors, and other self-employed individuals are all eligible for this. Also, charitable organizations and nonprofit entities and churches are eligible for this as well. The SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan, a separate loan procedure that I had talked about earlier, something that was already available through the SBA. There are a number of organizations that don't qualify for that, including religious and charitable organizations. This is not the case for the CARES Act. This $350 billion that is allocated, including the Payroll Protection Act, these organizations may get access to that. And the standards are drastically lower. Anybody who's been trying to apply for that or has applied for the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loans will know that you had to submit a lot of paperwork. You had to show that you were credit worthy. You had to provide personal guarantees and collateral were also discussed as part of that. That is not the case with this. The Payroll Protection Act is going to allow small businesses without collateral, without without personal guarantees, without creditworthiness, proving creditworthiness, all to apply for up to $10 million, but it's going to be based off of how big your organization is. The process, once applied, should be credited to your bank account within 1 to 3 days. This is made to go very fast. All banks that are FDIC insured are able to write these loans. However, there's going to be some banks that aren't functioning right now because certain businesses have shut down within some states, and therefore SBA will likely end up launching a portal that you can apply through. So if you have a banker, this is something that you can reach out to your banker for, or if you're not able to do through the bank yet, SBA will be launching something online that you're able to get. Now, if perhaps you're familiar with SBA, the SBA has a loan program already called the 7A loans. This falls underneath that. It's just coupled with a debt relief provision. That means you can get 2.5 months of payments for utilities, fixed utilities, rent, payroll costs, interest costs. You can get those things that are fixed. You can get this loan under the 7A program, and if you continue to pay for the same number of hours for those employees, you continue to use those funds the way that you're supposed to, at that point, you will be able to have those funds forgiven. Now let's take an example. You ask for, let's say, $50,000 to be able to make all these payments. All right, that is a loan up until you continue to pay your employees and pay rent and pay everything that you're supposed to. If you decide to take $10,000 of that and utilize it towards a business expense, but not towards one of these allocated costs, payroll, interests, rents, and utilities. If it's not used towards that, but it's still used towards a business expense, that portion, that $10,000 that you take and decide to spend towards that, will still be considered a loan and the rest will be forgiven. That's our understanding of how this works at this point. Upon forgiveness of that loan, normally, loans that are forgiven are taxable as income to you. At this point, we're considering that they're not taxable, but we're not sure on that. A lot of the tax implications of this are yet to be seen. But our understanding is that that loan forgiveness does not create that tax implications. Now, other things that are to be considered right now is that if that does get converted, that loan should be long-term. It should be 3 to 4% interest, probably similar to the Small Business Economic the SBA economic injury disaster loans at 3.75% interest. So again, if part of that does get converted into a loan, I don't think that'll be end of the world for you if you need to use some of that money for that. But you should be able to fundamentally get the money quickly, be able to keep your doors open. That's the main point of this, is that you're able to survive through this point, at least for a couple months. After that couple months, believe me, we're going to continue on with these updates for those types of purposes. That CCSK law here is dedicated towards staying open and keeping your business up to date and functioning, as well as other aspects of your life. We have our bankruptcy attorney, our estate planning attorney, all of these attorneys, litigation, everything that's still moving forward, because life hasn't stopped altogether. And so here at CCSK Law, we're dedicated to continue to provide you the information and resources that you need to continue through this time. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook Messenger here, or through adding a comment, or even sending us an email. You can reach me at isaac@ccskaw.com, or visit our website at ccskaw.com. Again, any questions that you have, and we're going to continue to give you updates like this one as this progresses forward.